ladies. Today we are discussing, are you hypermobile and why should you even care? I'm Jenn Lormand, exercise physiologist.
I'm Christina Walsh, licensed physical therapist. We're going to first tell you, how do you know if you are hypermobile and why should you even care? Maybe are you the girl who did gymnastics and ballet when you were a kid?
Yep.
And then you got into yoga because you were like really bendy and flexible, so you were really good at it. And so you liked it for that reason. And then what happened to you if you're this girl?
Well, and then maybe you have a kid or two and you start noticing some tightness, some weakness. You try to go back into the other things that you used to be doing, only you keep having tightness and weakness. And
the things that used to work for you just aren't working anymore.
Yep.
And they're actually causing more pain and issues. And you're so confused and you're frustrated and you don't get it. And you start to feel kind of scared because, okay, well, what does this mean for my future? I'm only 35. I'm only 42. This stuff always used to work for me and now it's causing pain and I've tried 6 different things.
Yeah, before when I felt tight, I would do my yoga stretches and things and feel like I would get relief. And now that isn't happening for me. So what is going on?
You might be hypermobile. And what it's a fancy word that just means your joints are loose. Your connective tissue, your ligaments, your tendons are all extra stretchy, which explains why you were good at gymnastics and ballet and yoga.
Yep.
You're extra stretchy and bendable. And some kind of tests for that are like, are you the girl who stands with your knees locked?
I was going to say really simple test is like if you hold your arm out, like Chris is slightly.
I have a little bit.
Look, so you see how like, yeah.
Do you do yours?
So like when I do mine is just straight out.
Overextends a little bit.
How hers overextends. So that's one when you're standing. If you lock your knees out, or if you notice, you kind of have to do that little hip pop shift side to
get
side.
Comfortable.
The other one is if you've done yoga, this is going to seem like, really? That means I'm hypermobile. If you can do a forward bend and get your hands completely flat on the floor, or if you can do this little doodad thing that this chick can do.
Well, but it can get even worse where you can like really touch your.
Yeah.
But Jenn can't bend it that far.
I'm like, no, it ain't going.
So clearly Jenn and I fall on different places on the spectrum of natural looseness and mobility and flexibility of our connective tissue. And many of the women who work with us find that they fall even further on that spectrum. And it does progress even into diagnosable conditions like Ehlers-Danlos syndrome is a hypermobility disorder. We've worked with lots of women who have that. What does this have to do with your pelvic floor and your core, right? Because that's why we're here.
So believe it or not, your ligaments are what actually holds up your pelvic organs. And we just told you that hypermobility is laxity in ligaments. And so
ligaments, it's muscles, that's all connective tissue, soft tissue. And when you are hypermobile, whether it's diagnosed or not, you fall on that spectrum of those tissues naturally being just kind of looser than other people. And that sets you up, especially through pregnancy and childbirth, to have extra issues with all that stuff falling and losing its support and then causing all the issues that are known as pelvic floor dysfunction, prolapse, all the back and hip pain too.
Well, and so during this process, what ends up happening is your body has leaned on the ligaments for so long, and the looser that they get, the harder it is to create some muscle activation. And that's
stability.
Really important to get those muscles to turn on to create stability in the joint. And because your body no longer remembers neutral, it doesn't know how to get there.
Yes. And when you try to go back to all those other exercises, you're trying to build strength, but your body has forgotten how to even be stable at the middle anymore. And so when you try to build that strength, you end up hurting yourself. And that's where that, okay, why is this hurting me now thing comes from.
And so, again, we've worked with so many women dealing with this, and it is so fun to watch that when they use our methodology that decompress, activate, strengthen using our 10-minute a day routine, they begin to feel stronger and more stable in their body and be able to do more of the tasks that they used to. They learn those new parameters that they need to work within to be able to get those muscles to turn on and activate so that they can build strength, whether that's resistance training, whether that's going back to Pilates, yoga.
A lot of women who work with us have pretty physical jobs in healthcare, and they're physically moving patients.
Yes.
And to hear them come back and report, wow, it was a couple of weeks and I'm noticing I feel like I have that strength back that I've been longing for and didn't know how to get again. And that's where it removes the fear out of that, well, what's next for me? If I've tried all that used to work for me and now it's not working and it's just causing more problems, it is scary to feel that way.
Especially when you know, as women, as moms, we often use exercise for our own mental health, for our stress relief. So, you know, when you're not able to do those things, that is scary. Like a part of you is dying.
And,
you know, you've lost that.
And that's from an exercise lover. For me, exercise is more function. So it was like, if I get scared, if I feel like I don't have the tools I need to feel strong enough in my own body to do my daily tasks, to lift and hold and move my children, to work with my patients, to just carry the groceries in. That is a scary feeling, to feel like I am not strong enough to do those things. And that's a vulnerable, awful place to be. But so if you fall on this hypermobility spectrum, maybe you've tried to turn to stretching because that did work for you in the past. And you've tried to think, okay, well, my back's sore. I'm just going to stretch it more. I'm going to stretch my hamstrings more. I'm going to stretch my hip flexors more. But because you're hypermobile, when you try to do those stretches, what you actually end up doing is just stretching the joint even more and compressing the joint even more through no fault of your own,
creating more laxicity, which then ends up leading to injury.
Yep. And you're not actually getting to the muscle tissue at all that you're trying to. So
we recommend using a muscle roller to all those ladies. We say stop stretching and use a muscle roller. And don't confuse this with a foam roller because it is different. This is just a tool, looks like a rolling pin that you use on your skin. You can use it over clothing or whatever, but use it on the tissue that feels tight.
We'll link to that in our favorite things page, which is also just on our website, tightenyourtingler.com. Go to the bottom for our favorite things and you can get that link to the muscle roller. It's like $20 on Amazon. No big deal. And it feels so much better. It allows you to actually roll out and get to the mobility and the stretch, the flexibility of the tissue you're trying to get to, as opposed to that kind of traditional stretching that will not work for you if you're, as we like to say, one of our hypermobile ladies.
And obviously that muscle roller is a Band-Aid fix. If you're ready to get to the root of the issues, come on over and join us in our signature program. Take the quiz to make sure you're a good fit. You can find that on our website, but we'd love to have you.
And then get that 10-minute a day routine to bring your core strength back and find that center again so you can move without that constant pain.
Until next time, ladies.